This is Primoz Lazar here, business growth specialist and leader. Get with one-on-one coaching with me at primozlazar.com/one-on-one.
Hey, I'm back. Just completed my project here. I was here in the bay doing some video and photo shots, however, but I'm welcoming you in this second kind of video right now. This is going to be mostly oriented for me to be talking to you about my personal experience that I have gone through of how I developed my personality and how I structured my internal program in my mind of how to always be positively oriented and always very kind of successful in everything that I'm doing. How can I be master of my destiny, master of my environment, and how can I be always controlling the situations around me, because I don't want to depend on any other circumstances, okay? And this is the most important thing right now. You want to be the creator. You want to be the one who is always progressing, who is always allowing yourself to be in the controlling environment, okay? So just give me a second, guys. I need to jump onto the motorway and then I'll be all good to share with you the complete story, the complete background that I've gone through. But you need to know a quick thing, okay? This is important, and also the second part is very important, okay? The second part, which means more marketing and sales and everything else, okay? But crucially, it's very important that you understand that the mindset is first, okay? So let me quickly grab a bottle of water from the petrol station, and after that we go. All right, I'm back. Let's do this. Another hour that we are going to be together for right now. This is going to be part of where I am mostly talking about my personal story and how I experienced the knowledge and everything that I possess right now, which I didn't before, okay? I didn't have any inspirations before because I was just a young kid who was average, a little bit above average. I need to admit that, and I know that, and I just kind of was that, you know? I was above average than everybody else, but that was not enough for me, because many times I was lonely, many times I was alone, many times I was feeling disempowered, many times I felt disconnected from my higher spirit, disconnected from my soul, and and I'm still getting together, okay? I need to admit that I'm still getting together, but most often I am very, very powerful, okay? Most of the time I am extremely well connected to my higher purpose, okay? Most of the time I am very powerful. So, which means that my job is right now to still keep progressing, okay? But I'm ready, okay? Now I'm ready. I just needed to brainstorm a little bit of stuff on my own. But look, I was born in Slovenia. That's where I'm from. It's a small country in Europe, if you don't know that, okay? And my hometown is actually populated with 1,000 or 2,000 of people, okay? And then 3 minutes away from my hometown, there is a bigger city which probably got like 5,000 or 10,000 of people, okay? That's like only 3 minutes away. It's not far, but we often needed to walk or go by bicycle, okay? or you go by car and you're there in 3 minutes. Now, and then from this city, there is another 10 or 15 minutes by car to the capital city of Slovenia, which is Ljubljana. There is the biggest downtown of Slovenia, okay? So there is probably 100,000 people, okay, in that biggest city, okay? Slovenia has got only 2 million of people, okay? And we got beautiful girls. I need to say that, okay? We got a lot of nature. We got a lot of empty space, okay? You can drive your car just like anywhere. You can go also off-road. You can go walk in the bush. You can do all this stuff, okay? A lot of empty space, a beautiful greenery, okay? So I was born in this beautiful city, okay? A beautiful small town, okay? My mom was born on a farm, and my dad was born in Ljubljana, lived in city Ljubljana, okay? So he's more town boy. But if I give you a little bit background on my parents, because that's crucial and important, so you know where I'm coming from, okay? They are very, very good people. Okay, but nobody is perfect. You need to know that, okay? So also they have weaknesses, okay? And those weaknesses are most often expressed, they were expressed in some scenarios, okay? And probably that's everything was translated on me, okay? Look, my dad is very detailed, very good in his job. He's an electro engineer and he works in the office, okay? And in the main Ljubljana's operational electricity center or whatever. So he manages this stuff and he is the best at his work, okay? He's very rational, okay? He doesn't like any of weak emotional stuff, and when he gets to some weak emotional stuff, he gets angry, okay? So you can get my dad sometimes, you can get him angry, okay? And so, okay, now I'm crossing the border, guys, so I think I'm going to need to put this camera away. I don't want any problems, okay? And then I'm going to talk about my mom and my dad and what was translated me and stuff. I gotta go, give me a sec. Boom, I'm back. So I just needed to cross the border here. I'm going to Croatia right now from Slovenia. Now, I was talking about my dad's very rational, and if you are weak and stuff like that, if you are weak financially toward him, if you are weak personally toward him, if you are weak, he is going to get pissed. He's going to get angry, and he's going to send you somewhere in some way. It's not always like that, but that's just in relation to me, because when I continue sharing with you my story, but I broke many of great things in there, okay, in our family. I mean, it's not my problem, okay, but it came from them, you know. But anyway, but the point is that if you are good to my dad, okay, if you have a work ethic, if you, let me say it this way, he can become very charitable and very positive, and he loved to play with kids, with us. He still loves to play with my nephews, okay, my brother's children. So he loves to play and be very joyful on the other side, okay? But you need to make sure that you do things right, okay? Because he can get very upset, okay? And yeah, on the other side, my mom, she is very open-minded. She loves people. She loves to take care of people. She's a actually a nurse. She takes care of us all the time. She supports me. She gives me everything. She takes care of our clothes, of the food, of the kitchen. She is a very lovely person. Okay, so my parents are very good if I can be good. But when I was young, when I was a child, look, I didn't have any control anyway. So I just followed their aspirations and stuff like that. Okay, so that's all regarding to my parents. Okay, pretty much. Okay, but yeah, my dad can be impulsive, which is fine. I mean, I got used to it. It strengthened me so much, that doesn't touch me anymore because I don't feel any guilt anymore. It's not my fault anymore. Okay, so I grew up as a probably normal child. I got three brothers and I got one younger sister, and only one of the brothers is older than me, okay? And he's shorter than me as well. But all the other two brothers and one sister, they are very tall as I am. So that was, we are a beautiful family, And I was amazing in primary school. I was scoring fives. I'm not sure what's this called in US, alright, maybe A's. I'm not too sure, but I was the best student in the primary school till the 8th and 9th grade. The best student, one of the best ones. I was not really the best, there were one or two better than me, but I was the good one, man. And the school was controlling me. When I went for exams, of course I felt pressure, but I was educated, I knew my stuff, especially math and physics and everything, sport, whatever, and everything else, all right? I just did it somehow. So that's the story of my primary school, which was fine, okay? I was above average, as I told you. Then on the other side, immediately, and I was doing sports all my young childhood, okay? Immediately when we went to high school, from here, everything went like this. What? That's impressive, man. Immediately, my first grade in my high school, I barely made it because the teachers, they didn't affect us anymore. I mean, we were on our own and we could go or we couldn't go to the high school. But in primary school, you couldn't miss a class. You were needed to be there. So yeah, I was affected by my friends. We had all the freedom. We had a freedom to go or not to go to visit the class, and we were often just going for drinks, not really alcohol, but just drinks, hanging around, making jokes, even during the class, all the time just joking around, joking with the teacher, doing this kind of stuff. So let me take the ticket. How are you? This is the ticket for a toll. Now, we were joking a lot. We were joking around all the time, so I barely made it through. The first grade, second grade, and I was playing basketball at that time still, but then I quit basketball because I wanted to shoot a future movie. It was called like the last hot shot, something like that. And that movie that we recorded with my friends, we borrowed some car, like it was like Ford, but it was not Mustang, but it looked like Mustang. And we kind of faked everything out, kind of selling we stole the package of marijuana from some kind of dealers, and we stole their car in the movie, and then they caught us, and then somebody killed somebody, and at the end we were kind of, blah blah blah. It's just kind of not really a good movie to watch. Maybe it's going to be in the future. when I really succeed and stuff. But yeah, my point is, so we shot that movie, and at that time I was still alright. I could make it through the classes, but then me and my friend changed this high school, okay? In between of 2nd and 3rd grade, we changed it. Actually, no, it was in between of the 3rd grade. I'm not sure. We changed our high school from sports high school to the entrepreneurial high school. So we moved to different high school, and I made through the 3rd class grade. I made it through somehow. But at that time, I already started hanging out with wrong friends. Let me be completely honest and open to you in this program, okay? Because it's private and nobody of the wrong people is really going to see it and blah, 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 whatever. I started smoking some marijuana at that time, okay? And with my friends, and that costed a lot of money, okay? And my family even bought me a car at that time. They bought me a car so I could drive to school. And that was $5,000 car, which was actually my car, and I owed money to my dad. But if something went wrong with everything, my dad could say to me that I cannot drive the car because it was his money, which I owed him, and was kind of my car, but he had a complete control over it because it was actually his money, which I should be returning him with my photography and videography projects, okay? So that's a complicated story because I owed him money from that time on because he bought for me a car. And didn't have a job at that time. I just had some work as we were working with my dad together, photography and videography business, yeah. Not really a business, but hobby. So my dad started doing that at that time, and I became interested in it. And suddenly I took over, and we were shooting the events, the concerts, the parties, however, the weddings and stuff like that already 10 years ago, okay? I started that time, 10 years ago. So I was partially doing that so I could pay him some money back for the car, okay? But then what happened was I was in a school system still, started hanging out with the wrong friends. We were smoking marijuana and buying for $1, 1 gram, smoking that stuff. And then in my 3rd and 4th grade, actually I made it already into the 4th grade, this was happening probably very often already. So we were kind of getting high in the night time, and then I would be very tired and sleepy next time in the school. So I started lagging, okay? I lost the interest in the school, and I was not educating myself anymore. So I was not knowledgeable anymore, okay? And I was roughly going through that 4th grade. And then I was not searching anything yet regarding to my purpose and stuff. Probably I was just partying, and I was not interested in doing school for a long time at that time already, because I already tried to start business, blah, blah, blah. I was never successful. The wrong foundation, wrong setup, wrong environment, everything was not that good. So what happened was, listen to this. This is an amazing story to be told right now. There were 2 or 3 months to the end of that 4th grade, okay? Just in front and before the final exams, okay? I went to the first graduation exam, and I saw that I don't have a clue to complete that exam. That was too bad, okay? So I dropped out of school. I went to the first exam, and I saw this is not going to work. And I went out, waited for my friend, and I told him, look man, today we are going home, and I am going back to this school. I ain't going back. I came home, told my family what happened, that I went out from the exam, I couldn't complete it, and I ain't going back to the school. And I was serious about it, completely serious about it. My family was rough on me. They were upset and angry, definitely. And they were already angry regarding to my acting because I was not doing good in school. And they knew that I'm wasting money and time and blah, 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 that I'm not attending the classes, that I was really bad student, okay? And they knew that, and yeah, I knew that, and everybody knew that, okay? So that's the beginning of my downfall. Because when I dropped out of school, I didn't have anything to do. I didn't go to get a job, and I was staying at home. And there was 2 months left before the summer begins and the holiday begins, okay, and stuff like that. 2 months left, and yeah, I was staying at home, and my dad told me, look, either you go back to school, which starts in September in our country. It was July or whatever. Holiday, just for 2 month holiday started. My dad said to me, either you go back to school on 1st of September and you repeat that 4th grade class, or you need to go out of my apartment. And I knew that he was saying this, and probably he meant it, that he was serious about it. Probably he was so serious about it, okay? And 1 week before of the 1st September, which was the day when I should go back to school, which I never wanted, and I would never go, and I didn't go. I didn't go back to school. Because exactly on 1st of September, let me rewind a little bit, 1 week before the 1st of September, I found an ad on the internet, okay? Because I was looking for a job or for an apartment. And I found an opportunity which said, you can come to live on our farm if you are going to help us working on our farm. Okay, that was the ad. And I called the farm guy, and we agreed, because that was their offer, that I can come and live on their farm and I can work there and live there for free. And they're going to pay me some money as well if I work there. So I went, live on the farm. 1st of September, exactly on the day my dad said. At that time, I was already a believer in some way. One thing that I skipped, okay, I'm Catholic, okay? I was going to church all the time. When I was young, I was every Sunday in the church and during the week as well, okay? Because I was serving with the priest. I'm not sure how to say it in English, but yeah, I was helping the priest as a young kids do. So yeah, I was very committed to church because my mom and my dad, they go to church. That's a good thing. So my point was that at that time I was already a believer, and I knew that if you set something in your mind, it can actually work out. And I believed that on 1st of September there is going to be a solution. And it was. Exactly on that day I moved out and I went to live on the farm. So yeah, at that time my mom was crying because for the first time I went away from the home, and she was scared, because I'm leaving. I was probably 18, 19 years old, I'm not too sure. However, but for the first time I left home. So I went to live on the farm, which was 1 hour away from our home, something like that. And yeah, it was first week there, I was working there, they taught me how to farm, how to take care of the cows and blah, 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 how to clean up the shit, and that's the only thing that I cared about, I didn't want to do that thing, I didn't want to milk the cows, No, that was not my job. I never did it and I will never do it. I just didn't want to do it. So all that I want to do it at that farm is any physical work, cleaning up the shit and fixing up, I don't know, any handwork, giving the food to the cows, going to the bush area and put the fence there and these kind of things. That's the job that I was doing, okay? And before of that summer, yeah, I was hanging out with my friends already. We were smoking marijuana, okay? Because that's the only thing that took me to the other world of joy, freedom. But I didn't know that actually with that I am digging a big hole of a conflict in my mind, okay? I was creating this huge gap, okay, in between of being, I don't know if I'm going to express this very well right now, but the gap started becoming bigger and bigger, financial gap and mental gap, okay, because it's a conflict. With smoking of marijuana, I was accessing actually my higher self, which means accessing the positive, enthusiastic, passionate emotions, okay? Higher self, okay? Empowerment, okay? And when you smoke that thing, you know, the mental blocks went down, the emotions were diminished, those emotions, the overwhelmment, the boredom, the negative, the depression stuff, they were diminished, and just joy was there because you felt so good and you felt free because freedom is on the top and stuff like that. So I started doing that, okay? And the problem is, when you didn't have anything to smoke, you started feeling depressed, okay? So I was down there below, and then I smoked the thing again, and I was up there again. So the thing just started shaking, you know, and everything started shaking in my life, if you understand what I'm saying, you know? And the gap started becoming bigger. So 1 week I was at the farm, 1 week at the farm, and I was looking for escape already. And I got that escape because I think I convinced my mom and dad, my parents. I think that happened. Let me think twice before I say that. Wait. I think I convinced them that we sell our car. Wait, let me just fix up this thing. It's too bright. If we sell that car for $5,000, I buy cheaper car, and I return half of the money to them, so I owe them less. I still owe them a lot of money, and I gave them, and we bought a new car, cheaper car, like $1,000 worth of car. So I was actually no, that was later. Okay, no, it didn't happen that way. Wait, it happened the other way. We still had that car, okay, at home. But I borrowed the farmer's guy's car because he had a cheap car. So, he allowed me at times to drive that car to go back and forth from the farm to my apartment that they were giving to me that I live in. And no, that was not true as well, man. Come on, man. I'm not sure what happened, but the point that I'm making is, okay, I think that I took that car from the farm guy, and he allowed me to go with his car back home, okay, to my family. But I actually didn't go back home to my family. I never told them that I went back home to my family, but I went into that city next to my village, okay, 3 minutes away city, and I met with my friends, and we bought a marijuana, and we got high in that car from the farm guy, and I think we did this many times. And on the other side, if I can get even worse, I didn't have money for a petrol to go 1 hour away to go visit my friends. So what did I do? Don't tell this to anybody. I went to the petrol station with stolen, what are they called, the registration plates, with stolen ones, and filled in the car for $50, full tank, and I drove away, and I stole that petrol, which is not really good, not at all. So I stole that petrol, and I did this 3 times. I did that 3 times, and I'm not sure if I did this with my car or with the farmer's car. But the problem is that one day I went back. Actually didn't tell the farmer's guy that I'm going to take his car. In the night time, I went back to the city next to my village, and I crashed that car when I was high or whatever in the tree, and with friends in my car. And then I called the farmer guy in the night time at 1 a.m. and told him if he can come and pick me up because I crashed his car in the tree because the grass was slippery and I went directly into the tree when I was braking. So I loved to drive cars. I need to tell you that I loved that. I crashed that car in the tree and he was upset, and that's how I returned. Look, let me explain it to you. So my friend drove this car, the broken car, back to that 1 hour away village where I lived, and the farmer guy wanted me to give him money for his car, okay? And that's when we sold my family's car at home, that one for $5,000. Some of the money I returned to my dad, and some of the money went to buy a new $1,000 car, and some of the money went to this farmer guy so we can repay him because I crashed his car, okay? But there was $500 that I needed to give to this car because the car was cheap. So from that $500, I took away $100 and I just gave $400 to that guy, farmer guy, okay? Because I took that $100 and I spent it for food and for marijuana and for everything else, all right? Not that good stuff, not that good. The farm didn't give me any work anymore anyway, okay, because I just didn't do a good job at there. And, you know, in my first 2 weeks, the apartment was paid off, so I was able to live for free in that apartment and blah, blah, blah. So everything collapsed in some way. And I tried to launch my photography business from there already. And it just didn't work out, okay? So what happened then was that the farmer kicked me out of their apartment, okay? And I still owed him money, okay? I owed the farmer the money because I didn't give him back enough for his car. So, and they kicked me out. So I needed to return back to my family's home. So I returned back home, okay? Back to my family, and they luckily accepted me, okay? And I still owed money to my dad, okay? And I already submitted my application for the subsidy from the government, okay, to launch my business, okay. So I'm going to make this a little bit shorter so I don't waste too much of our time, okay, together. But I was at home and I'm not sure if I had any job or work, but suddenly I received 5,000 euros, which means the same as dollars, subsidy to keep running my business. And my dad expected that I'm going to give him some of that money, okay? But I needed to have that money for actually for monthly payments, because if you're running a business in our country, you need to be paying monthly payments to the government, okay? So the government expected me that I will be running 2 years of my business, and that was the support that I received for that, okay? So what did I do, okay? I'm not sure if I gave any money to my dad because I owed him all the time the money, but I rented an apartment in the city of where 3-minute away city with blah, 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 okay? So I moved there and I started renting that apartment and I lived there, okay? And at that time, I didn't do a good job with the business at all, okay? I didn't work, I didn't do anything, I was discovering the things and I was wasting time with my friends, and I had a lot of money. I had few grand, which was a lot of money at that time. So I was spending that money every day for food and for marijuana, which is not that good, okay? Not satisfying, okay? And my friends were visiting me and we were doing this together, okay? So I wasted it all at that time, okay? And I think at that time I already started discovering and searching for the truth of how the life really operates. At that time, it's the first time that I actually started looking out for the truth. And mostly when I got high with marijuana, I started sensing the abnormal lifestyle, okay? I started seeing the patterns, okay? And I started reading people's body language, and I started seeing the patterns, the thoughts, and how everything was reflecting to my intelligence, okay? And that was abnormal experience. And when I got high, I was sensing so many of more things, okay? So that was supernatural, okay? And I started seeing that conflict in me, and I was seeing so many different things that other people would not see, okay? And that's when I recognized that there is something more on this world, that this materialistic world is really just a reflection, okay? And our minds are holding this world together in some way, and everything works in synergy and blah, 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 things like that. But I didn't have any control over that. I didn't really know how it all operates, okay? At that time, I started sensing it. When we got high, I felt like supernatural, you know? I was like, I understand things, I see things, okay? And I was looking around and I couldn't understand of how is it possible that I can access this information at one time, but at the other time I cannot really access this information and stuff like that. So that was supernatural for me. And the problem happened that I started doing this very often, all right? And I started smoking marijuana on my own because I wanted to discover this strange world, okay, in me. I got high and I just sensed my thoughts, I sensed my body, and I saw things and I understood things. And at times the conflict just happened and I was like, oh my gosh, I know everything. I know a lot. But then after a few hours, this feeling disappeared, you know, because I was accessing with that skill of smoking marijuana, I was accessing the information, the emotional emotions, those high emotions that connected me to the highest power. But that was wrong because I was doing it illegally, and that's actually created in me a big conflict that I had in me for the last 4 or 5 years all the time, and it's been making me huge problems because I was unsocial and things like that, okay? I was not like surreal. So with that, okay, I still lived in that apartment, and I was already so broke personally, emotionally, lost the finances, almost no more money from that money that I had received from subsidy. I was getting crushed enormously. So what happened then was, someday, look, this is very intimate stuff that I'm going to share with you right now. Someday, somebody got me a special drug, okay, which was like a sugar cube, okay, cube made from sugar, but it was it was a strange drug, okay. But the thing is that when I took that drug, okay, didn't started working immediately, but I think the first, I'm not sure if I took it once or twice. I think I took it twice, okay, and then no more, okay, of course not. But when I took that drug, okay, I was not hungry and I was already very skinny, okay. I had like 20 kilos less than right now. Now I'm strong and powerful, but at that time, not enough food. But so I ate that drug in my own apartment. There were 2 friends with me, but I felt like their devil in my house, so I kicked them out of my house. And I stayed there and I got really bottom low at that time on my own. Okay, I got so conscious and the walls and everything started flickering, and I felt the vibration, and I saw at that time that everything is just a freaking vibration. I was sitting on the balcony on my own, and I thought that the balcony can collapse and I could just fall down the earth and just disappear, okay? For the first time ever, I was so at the edge of my soul that I felt how my soul could leave my body, and I was conscious and present, okay? I was scared to lose that conscious mind at that time. I was freaking scared because I was so conscious, and I was scared that I'm going to lose myself completely, okay? And I thought that I should go for a walk. It was already night time, okay? I thought that I should go for a walk, and I knew many things, okay? I looked myself in the mirror and I saw me becoming somebody else, okay? This is creepy thing, which is not real, okay? But it actually was, because I was on drugs illegally, and I was accessing this life's information, which I was accessing it illegally with drug. It's not good. So I went out for a walk, and I saw the future, okay? At the end of that road, street, I saw if I walk there, I saw that car would pull off and it would be a police, okay? Because the police are actually in our life the blue angels, okay? The police kind of is a blue angel, and they make sure that they pack up all the negative souls. I'm just telling what I know now, but at that time I knew it this way in whatever. So the police is taking care on this world that the people who are bad, they go in the jail, all the negative souls and stuff like that, it's cleaned up, okay? So I saw that I was so illegally, consciously in that moment, that if I walk down there, the police would just somehow, from that side of the road, directly go on my side. They would check me up and they would send me to the hospital or to the jail, because they would see that I'm on drugs, definitely. They would tell to my mom and dad, to my family, that I'm completely out of my mind. So I turned around and I ran back home, because I didn't want the blue angels to take care of my soul and hospitalize me, all right? I ran back into my apartment, and I found myself in my apartment, and I was on my knees and on a bottom floor, and I started crying, because for the first time ever I was on the edge of the world, so low that my soul started crying in my body, and it said to me, I am done, I had enough, I am completely on the bottom floor right now. You got only two options. Either you go that way and you die, which I never wanted, but I was just looking for the future information. I was just looking for the truth. I never knew how can I control my life, but on that day I found myself completely on the floor, and I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. Let me be honest to you, okay, there is only one truth in this world, and that's what Jesus was preaching to us. So I saw the Jesus's light, and I heard the word. I saw that spirit, and I knew at that time that it was actually that way. The world was so depressed, so everything was dark, except one thought, one and only thought prevailed at that time, and it was that I was able to turn on Jesus, and that small, very small power was giving me hope at that time. And it just happened for like 1 minute or something, and then I still needed to suffer for all night. I couldn't sleep, I was consciously present, and it continued. But I remembered that moment that I was completely on the bottom floor, and I made an ultimate decision that somehow I'm going to build up from there, okay? So the first time in my life at that time, I was in the control of my situation completely, even if I was doing it illegally, okay? So, and it went more abnormal, man, because in that night, when I put something on the TV, the frequency from me and everything with the TV would be just the same. And that frequency on TV was talking about abnormal, supernatural stuff. What? I am on that frequency, and on the TV they are playing stuff of the supernatural, abnormal stuff. Come on, man, if I turn the TV on, there would be news or whatever, but at that time there was like frequency from here, bam, to there. And stuff like that. And even next day, I felt the consequences of that drug. And I think I accessed another drug with my friends, either later or before, that was a little bit better drug, but still it threw me into that conscious mode. But my point is that I was riding my bicycle and I saw the bicycle as a frequency, as an energy, that it was floating, man. That bicycle, I think, could just disappear and I would again fall down on the floor or below. I mean, this is stupid what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not sure if that's proper for this program, but I want you to know that there is something more in this realistic world that you can have a control of, and I do have now. But you need to have a strong foundation, you know. You should never do drugs, and alcohol is fine, but I don't do it much because I rather work hard. So my point is that you can access these great emotions naturally. Okay, and I do this naturally. I do it with walking, meditating in nature now, and I do it with going to the church very often during the week as well. I do it with listening to the programs on my AirPods, and I do it through hard work, through great relationships. So that's where I access the information now, because if you want to succeed in life, you cannot hit the lottery overnight, okay? Except if you prepare yourself for great things, and then it starts bumping in the great stuff and your business explodes. Okay, but not when you're at the beginning, because you need to climb the ladder of the emotional scale to the success, okay? So, I got another 20 minutes to finalize this story, okay? But as you see, I brought you to this point in my life that was 6 years or 7 years ago, of when I made an ultimate decision that I want to change my life and build it again, because I found myself completely on the floor. So let's make a quick break, and then we have another 90 minutes, okay? Because I want to tell you the good stuff, what happened after and how I broke through, okay? So let's have a quick break. Just get some water, okay? Take it easy, because it all sorted out for me. If you are in similar depressive state right now, you don't need to worry, because you found me, okay? You found the idea here, and I can help you and provide you with a great progressive way of how can you build something great today, from today onwards, through your job, through your business, through your life, through yourself. We can do this, okay? And even if we are connected to each other on a distance, like we are so far away, okay? I'm in my car right now, and you might be there on the other side of the world, somewhere in the US, somewhere in Australia, somewhere in Asia, somewhere in Canada, somewhere in Russia, or wherever you are right now. Whatever, this world is only one world, and I need this information to come directly into your heart and remind you that there is a positive light at the end of the tunnel. And I came completely at the end through the negative and dark stuff, dark moments. But look, man, I was fixing those mistakes for 5-6 years, and I am not done yet. I need another 1 or 2 years to fix up all that thing that I did wrong, because it takes For each year that I was doing stupid things, I needed 2 years to recover, to cover those mistakes. And I was doing mistakes for 3 years. So I need like 6 or 7 years. And I need another year to fix up everything. But I'm so much closer and I got the program now. Okay, let me drink and then we continue. See, this guy's car broke down. You know, the cars broke down. The cars break down and your equipment breaks down and your body breaks down because of the mistakes that you do in life, okay? Because what happened with me at that time, after I broke down in that apartment, I needed to return back home because I ran out of money. So I needed to return back home and I needed to get a job. So first I received one job which was just for 3 days. And then I received another job that I was able to work from home and they paid me pretty well. And I was doing that job for 1.5 years probably. Okay, so for around 2 or 3 years, 2 years after when I went out of my high school, I had that good job which I was able to do from home, and I was still using marijuana at that time, okay, at times. So I was typing for this job, listening the news and typing them down because that was my job. For 8 hours a day I was typing. That's how I learned to be a very good typer and very quick. It helps me a lot now in my business world. And yeah, so was doing that job and still had that conflict, man, and I was being paid from that job and I started returning my money to my dad, okay? So somehow after that ultimate decision, I was still looking for the truth through getting in those emotions through marijuana, but I was finding myself depressed, no future, and I was laying in my bed and I was saying, if my mom and my dad would be proud of me again, that would be good, but there was no way they could be proud of me again at that time. So somehow after 1 or 2 years with that job from home, I was able to return all my money to my dad, okay? And somehow I saved 2,000 euros. And I already quit smoking marijuana just like that on February, whatever. I just know it was February, and I just decided I got enough. You, my friends, you can still do it. I got enough. I am not doing it anymore. I got this job now at home. I'm making some cash. I returned the money to my dad and I saved $2,000. I saved $2,000 plus, even before I was able to buy myself a PC for $1,200 and professional photo camera for 4 grand. Okay, everything. And I returned my money with that job to my dad and saved $2,000. Okay, so I got recovered at that time. And I found myself bored. I even built an office in the basement that I still got now, and I even upgraded it right now after 4 or 5 years. So at that time, I found myself bored, nothing to do, playing games with my friends through my PC, still doing that job, and suddenly I decided that I got enough. And I called my friend who was in Australia, and I said to her, is there a way I can escape my world and come to Australia with $2,000? And she said, look, man, it's not much money, but I think you can do it, okay? And I decided to buy a plane ticket for $1,100. Okay, for $1,100, I bought a ticket and I paid for passport, and with $800 I went to Australia. And I remember the day when I told to my mom and dad, I gotta tell you something, guys. I gotta tell you something. And they said to me, what do you want to say to us? You have a girlfriend? Did you steal something? Did you do something wrong? And I said, I gotta tell you something. And they didn't even expect this. And I said, I'm going to Australia. And my dad got upset because my company business was still registered. My company was still registered, and he didn't know that 2 years have passed, which means that if 2 years would not pass, I would still be committed to be paying that monthly fee for to the government. So he became upset, of course, that I'm leaving and I'm going to leave this company here for him, and it's going to be in his burden, blah blah blah. So, but finally, anyway, I packed up, and my mom needed to say bye-bye to me. And at this time, she already knew that I'm a believer and I go to church more often and stuff like that. And she was not even crying, and she was more supportive than at that time when I was going to live on the farm for the first time. So she was supportive, and she believed in me in some way that I'm going to make something happen out of my life. So I moved to Australia, okay? And here the story begins. Not really, but in first few days I found an apartment in Vietnamese home, and in the first week that was very hard job for me to come to Australia, and I was not allowed to work. I had a tourist visa, so I didn't know how I'm going to manage it, because I paid like $400 or whatever of dollars for the apartment. So I stayed with almost no money and I couldn't speak English as well very well. So I found a job in first week in a car wash, okay? And that was cash on hand, okay, which was very good, okay, for me. So with that, every day I was working for 3 months, and my goal was to collect enough money so I can pay for student visa, so I can stay in Australia for longer, which somehow I did, okay? But I was working in car wash Monday to Sunday and making $100 Australian dollars every day, which is not a lot, okay? Hard work, not a lot of money for that kind of hard work. So I kind of managed, okay? And that work kind of cleansed me, okay? I didn't learn enough, didn't learn anything, didn't give me anything else, but it just cleaned me, man. I was just washing and washing my past mistakes out of me, okay? So in 6 or 7 months, I lost the interest in doing that job, okay, and I didn't know how to continue, and I didn't have any belief that I'm worth of something, that I can do something out of my life. So I stopped going to that car wash, and there was no more money in my account. Again, I became broke, and from that time on, I was always broke anyway, man. I didn't have any money. I was always living at the edge of the world, even at that time, with that car wash experience. And look, somehow I found this new job, okay? And I called this person, and it was for a wedding photography job, okay? And I called this person, and I was going to ask them if I can work with them, and they said to me no. Wow, they said to me no. Okay, and I didn't even know what's on the other side. But my point is, I need to go off here. My point is that they said to me no, and then my dad from Slovenia said to me after 1 week, call them again, because that guy didn't return me a call. And I called this guy again, and he said to me again no. But then this guy called me back in 5 minutes, and he asked me, how many times a week can you work, okay? Oh, you still need to go to school 3 times a week, you can work with us, and on the weekends? And I said yes. So I called him, and he said to me, for $900, for 900 of Australian dollars a week, is that fine with you? I said, all right, it's good. And yeah, this is the first time of when my entrepreneurial experience started, okay? I came to this family business photography, wedding photography job, okay? And their business was booming, okay? Even if it was family business, every weekend they had from 3 to 12 weddings a weekend, which means like 2 on Friday, 4 on Saturday, and 3 on Sunday, okay? These people had so many weddings in one weekend or 2 weekends that I have done in my entire life before. I've done just 14 or 15 weddings before in my life, okay? But with that, this great experience started because they were hard on me. These people were hard on me in some way because I didn't know how to speak English. I didn't know how to deal with clients, how to deal with people, how to lead as a photographer. I was not experienced even with my skill of photography and videography, okay? Because I learned the first part at home with my dad, but the second part, everything with this company, which I worked with for 2.5 years, okay, in Australia. I worked with that company, and it all started with me working there on a weekly basis, working there during the week, and then on the weekends we had weddings. So in the first 6 or 7 months, that's for first time that I was able to get some cash in and pay for the school expenses and stuff like that. And then I needed to return back home because my visa already expired, okay? I had just a temporary visa for, didn't expire. I needed to go back home because my flight ticket expired because I had a returning flight ticket, you know, when I came, blah, blah, blah. So I came back home to Slovenia, and then again, I didn't have enough money to go back to Australia, and this job needed me, and they expected me to come back in like 3 weeks. And then my dad needed to pay me the flight ticket again. And then I was owing to my dad money again. And so he gave me the money for the ticket, which was very good from him. He was also angry on me at some point at that time, but he still did it for me again. So I went back to Australia and back to working with this job, okay, this photography business, because we saw the future there, and I was learning. I was paid just normal, paid just enough to break through and pay the bills, but never more than I needed. It was hard for me. I felt still some depressions at that time and things like that, okay? So the point of this story is that I learned how to be good communicator there. I learned how to be good in tough environments because wedding days were very tough. I learned this kind of success idea of how can you be successful, because this business there was booming. They had so many clients, they were returning to him, and I've never seen such a successful business before, because that was just something that I was not used to, and I didn't even believe and know that something like that exists. So that was an impressive experience that happened to me. But with that said, being on the top, I became bored again, and I said to them, I don't want to work in the office every day again. So I said to them that I'm moving. I even moved my apartment from Vietnamese family close to this job, which was like 45 minutes away. So I lived in granny flat for 1 year next to this job, okay, and stuff like that. But then I became bored of working every day in that office, and I said to them that I'm going to move out, okay? And if they can allow me to work from home, okay? So I started working again from home. I was editing their projects from home. But going on Saturday and Sunday, I was going to go for photo shoot and video shoot, okay? So I was editing from home. Okay, by the way, I just arrived to this destination right now. So I'm going to need to stop this video, but we're going to talk it again more later. Okay, so the point is that I became bored, okay, working in the office, and I quit working in the office. I was working for them at home, from home now, okay? And then I moved away from them. I moved back to city to my Slovenian friend, which I lived with, okay? His name is Sasho. And this is another story because this person taught me how to iron the shirt, how to be a real man, how to be a person without excuses, because he was in the army. So he taught me all of this kind of polished stuff, how to be elegant, how to be professional. So that's what I learned with from there, okay? But the point is that I was still working from home for this company, but then I was rushed with their job because at that time, when I started working from home, I started developing this huge idea in my mind that I want to build something bigger, okay? That's the first time. I found my purpose even in the Carwash already before I knew I want to become huge and build something bigger. So my interest went in the other way. I started developing this great project that is now called Premium Life. At that time it was called Internet Extreme Platform or whatever. So this is a huge story that I'm going to be sharing with you later, but my points are here that I started doing bad job for these people. I was not good enough anymore and even they couldn't actually support me more and more because my highest potential required more, and they were just enough to be good in what they do, but they were not very excellent for high-end stuff in some way, but they were very good in their world. So the business, but so somehow, because I was not going to their office anymore, we together somehow decided that I'm not going to be editing projects for them anymore. I'm going to help them on Saturdays and Sundays to photo shoot, which is fine, but no more of weekly job for them, okay? And I wanted already to build my project, the Premium Life, to become a great model at that time, okay? But this all is another story, okay? So I'm going to do a quick job right here. I need to do a photo shoot, and after 10 minutes when I'm returning, I'm going to continue this video. And at that time, I'm going to share with you what I learned in this company that I worked for and how I designed the new vision, the new program, which was called Success Program, the Premium Life's first program, how I designed to have this strong personality, because immediately when I lost the job, weekly job with these people, I started studying Napoleon Hill, Laws of Success book or something like that, and from there I extracted the success program information, which has got fundamental step of how to be personally strong, okay? That's what I'm going to share with you, because it's so crucial and so important that you know what I learned and what I experienced, and all of these dots are connected so well because that's how life works, okay? It leads you through this experience, and everything is there for a reason. So I learned at that job the success principles, okay? And I'm going to share with you what I learned, okay? And that this was not the end of my suffering, okay? Because in that apartment there, the new apartment with my friend, and the new environment where I lost this job, the success job that I had, I lost it, okay? The depression continued, and I needed to figure out new ways, so I suffered more and more, and that was probably 2.5 years ago, okay? So I'm going to let you know about the story that continues just after this. Give me a sec.